During the Senate Appropriations Committee hearing on November 8, 2023, Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana questioned the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Playing off of the notion that Secretary Mayorkas supports open borders for immigration, Senator Kennedy asks him questions that contribute to this understanding of Mayorkas and his policies. He asks questions that Secretary Mayorkas is not able to answer directly, such as, how many members of Hamas have come into our country across the southern border since you've been in office? And, have you vetted each and every one of the 8.4 million immigrants who have entered our country across the southern border under your watch? Senator Kennedy presses Secretary Mayorkas, reciting statistics and asking questions that he already knows the answer to, as to reiterate what Secretary Mayorkas has and has not done during his time at the DHS Secretary. During his probing, Senator Kennedy brings up safe third country policies or agreements, how they contributed to immigration, how Mayorkas along with the Biden administration worked to end such agreements when they came into office, and the potential impact this has had on immigration in the United States. On February 6th of this year, the Biden administration, along with Secretary Mayorkas, began the process of withdrawing from safe third country agreements. As is described by Senator Kennedy here, safe third country agreements allow an individual to seek asylum in a country outside of their home country if they're being persecuted racially, politically, or on the basis of religion. Individuals can flee from their home country as a result of fear of persecution. However, they have to seek asylum in the first third country that they enter. Meaning, even if they wanted to seek asylum in America, they have to instead reside in a nearby third country that's considered safe.
Mr. Secretary and Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here today. Secretary Mayorkas, since President Biden has been president and since you have been secretary, how many members of Hamas have come into our country across the southern border?
Senator, I'm not aware of a member of Hamas crossing the border.
Have you stopped a member of Hamas from coming in?
Senator, I am not aware of a member of Hamas being encountered at our southern border.
Have you vetted all of the people who have, all of the 8.4 million people who have come into our country illegally?
Senator, you and I have spoken about this before. As you know, we screen and vet individuals.
Have you vetted all of them?
Senator, as you know, we screen and vet individuals whom we encounter.
You haven't vetted all of them, have you?
Senator, as I said, we screen and vet individuals whom we encounter at our border.
All right. I want to move on because, with respect, Mr. Secretary, to quote a public official in my state, it takes you an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes, and you try to filibuster us and use up our time. What is a safe third country policy?
Senator, a safe third country policy is a policy that provides as follows, that when an individual is fleeing their country of origin by reason of fear of persecution, and they traverse another country that can provide them safety from that fear, then they may not qualify for humanitarian relief in their ultimate country of destination because they
Let me stop you because you're watching 60 Minutes again.
Well, it's Senator.
A safe third country policy, you can tell me if I misunderstand this. Safe third country policy says America has joined the UN treaty that says if you're being persecuted politically or for race or for religion in your own country, you can seek asylum in the United States. But this is the safe third country part. You have to seek that asylum in the first safe third country that you enter. Is that basically correct?
Of the safe third country policy? Are you asking me, is that a correct
Yes, I am.
assessment? Yes, but let me also
Okay, let me ask you this, Mr. Secretary. Safe third country policies have been around for over 40 years, haven't they?
I don't know
They started in the 1980s in of all places, Scandinavia, didn't they?
I don't know, Senator.
And the UK has a safe third country policy, doesn't it?
Senator, the UK is underway in addressing its immigration
Spain
challenges.
has a safe third country policy, doesn't it?
Senator, if you know the answer to the question, I'm not sure why you're posing it to me.
Greece has a safe third country policy, doesn't it? Because I want to know if you know. You don't even know how many people are coming into our country.
Senator Kennedy presses Secretary Mayorkas here regarding the ending of safe third country policies. According to Kennedy, such agreements have been around for 40 years, existing in countries such as Greece, Spain, Canada, and the UK. When Secretary Mayorkas came into office, he worked with President Biden to abolish safe third country policies in the United States. Senator Kennedy proposes the idea that the extensive amount of immigrants that have entered into the US illegally since both Mayorkas and Biden have been in office could have been reduced had our safe third country agreements still be intact. That instead of seeking asylum in the US, a large percentage of these illegal immigrants would have been made to find refuge in a safe third country instead.
It's a safe third country policy, doesn't it?
Senator, I disagree with the statement that you...
I understand, but does Greece have a safe third country policy?
I do not know if it does.
Canada, the EU, Turkey, Norway, they all have safe third country policies, don't they?
It's interesting you cite Canada because I negotiated the safe third country agreement.
And the first thing that President Biden did, and you did when you took office, was abolish our safe third country policies. Now, in 2023, this is Senator Hovind's chart. What percentage of the illegal immigrants who came across the southern border were not from Mexico? Do you know?
Senator, I know that third country nationals has been on the increase, the number of encounters.
What percentage?
I can certainly.
You don't know, do you?
I can certainly.
It's 71%. Okay, are not people who are not from Mexico. So if we had a safe third country policy, that means that 71% of the 8.4 million people that if you have allowed to come into our country illegally, let me be conservative and use 6.6 million because the 8.4 includes gotaways. 71% of the 6.6 million people that you have allowed into our country illegally would not be hurt in any way. They could claim asylum from political or religious or racial persecution, but they would have to do it in another country, more than likely Mexico. Is that not the case?
Senator, that is an incomplete and inaccurate accounting of the safe third country.
And did you not say when we last spoke, and I proposed that, you thought it was a bad policy?
Senator, let me share with you a prerequisite to a safe third country agreement, and that is...
No, I'm almost out of time, and I'm not going to let you filibuster, Mr. Secretary.
Well, Senator, I have to say that 60 minutes...
Well, I'm just not going to let you do
Senator
it.
Kennedy, if he can respond, you are out of time, but I'd like to...
It's my time, Madam Chair, and I'm going to use it the way I want.
Your time is expired.
Well, you let others go on. Here's what I think, Mr. Secretary. I think you're a smart guy. Now, there are only one or two things going on here. Either you're not qualified to manage a Costco food court, or you believe in open borders. I think it's the latter.
Senator Kennedy, your time has expired. Thank you.
I would just say the following two things. Number one, you're 0 for 2 on that. You're inaccurate in both respects, number one. And I'd like the record to reflect that 60 minutes is not 45 minutes, because I can't seem to answer a question without being interrupted. I just wanted to make that comment.
Well, if you would answer a question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate the record.
0323 is 0628. Outro. As is cited by Senator Kennedy, 71% of the illegals immigrants who come across the southern border are not from Mexico, meaning if our safe third country agreements were not abolished, this 71% of immigrants would have been made to seek asylum in Mexico on their journey instead. Essentially, 71% of the 8.4 million illegals immigrants would not be housed in America, but instead in Mexico, the safe third country. According to safe third country agreements, it's within the right of the country to deny any and all immigrants at the border the ability to seek asylum in the US. Instead, they can fly or otherwise transport them to another country, the third county, to have them seek asylum there instead. The agreements that were present in America prior to the Biden administration did not mandate that those seeking asylum had to cross through their safe third country before being sent there to seek refuge, meaning those seeking refuge in America could be sent to a country such as Honduras instead of the nearby Mexico. Proximity here did not matter. Senator Kennedy continues to press Secretary Mayorkas, questioning whether his decisions as a title holder within the DHS are a result of his lack of qualifications or are due to his support of open borders for immigration. Open borders allow individuals to move between countries with no restrictions. Senator Kennedy makes it known that he believes that Secretary Mayorkas does in fact support open borders, thus the reason for him abolishing what was in place previously to control the flow of immigration into the United States. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for all of our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.